we will be voting confidence in Mr Simon Coveney and this government this evening. I've known Simon, come back to, he was already experienced TD when I first came here in 2002, member of the European Parliament, came back and as an opposition spokesperson when I was a minister, he was tough, gruelling, but fair and knowledgeable and committed and sincere in all the dealings I've had with him. I've seen him work on Brexit. Anyone here involved in any of the Brexit, the very open way in which he as minister involved other parties and involved every section of our society in our approach to Brexit shows what a capable foreign minister he has been and is at this present time. I've seen him work, I've been working with Simon on the likes of the UN Security Council at the moment at a critical time in this country's history where we can actually address key issues like climate, as he's doing in the UN Security Council and elsewhere. We need ministers who can take initiative. We need ministers who are willing to push the boundaries sometimes of what can be done. And that was typical, I think, in terms of approaching former Minister Catherine Zappone to take on this critical role, this role of freedom of expression and LGBTQ rights. That's not an unimportant job that we were looking to get someone for it. And I could see absolutely why a minister might say to themselves when the idea is to have that role, Catherine Zappone would be a good person for that job. I also want to speak, and I want to speak if I can, about her good name and her good reputation. And I recall sitting in one of those seats at the back there when she decided to go into government. And that same willingness for a public service was behind, I believe, her desire to take on this role. Once she was eminently qualified, remembering her in those days before she was well known, or in the Dáil or the Seanad, taking a lonely path with her partner into the courts to stand up for equal rights and marriage equality when no one else was willing to do that in a public way, makes her a very good person, well qualified in my mind to be a rapporteur or special envoy on freedom of expression and LGBTQ rights. There were problems with this process, as the Taoiseach has said, and as the Taoiseach acknowledged immediately to us. And yes, we have to actually call that out, and did. But a couple of points. Firstly, as I said, you need ministers with initiative, but you also need a check. And the check is often in the department. The department is there. The public service job is to pull up ministers and say, hold on a second here, we have to follow right and due process. But as I can see from listening to the Oireachtas committee hearings and elsewhere, the departments had a similar view to the minister in this case, that she would be a good person for this role. And it wasn't a case that they were trying to hold back the minister, they were working with their minister to deliver. That's very significant in my mind in terms of what took place. We were surprised. As the Taoiseach said at the time, we don't discuss what goes on in Cabinet, but he was the first to say in Cabinet, as I was too, his experience of this, and mine I think is absolutely mirrored, to say, well, the process here wasn't correct. And we're right to hold that to attention and to investigate it as the Oireachtas committee has done. But I vote confidence in the minister because I'm also, not only as a person, but also voting confidence in this government. This is a functioning government, whereas the Taoiseach says, where surprises exist, you pull the other parties up and say, hold on a sec here, what's happening? But you also have to have good faith, which does exist. And it's a functioning government which in its first year has put through 62 pieces of legislation. Compare that for any other jurisdiction, any other parliament. Compare that, Mary Lou will understand how dysfunctional government can work. How many pieces of legislation have been put through Stormont in the last year? And we have important work to do. We have important work to do in delivering the housing that we're committed to delivering fundamental change in our climate action plan and a new national development plan. And my experience, that is what the people want us to address, not the order of business that we're seeing presented tonight.
Minister, can I ask you to move the motion of confidence?
If I can move the motion, Councillor.
Thank you very much.